Okay, so after years of shitposting about mountain bikers, I gave it a go. Here are my thoughts. Okay, so first off, a little bit of context. So where did we go? So I went out with Nick Johns from Phoenix Cycles, good bike shop in Oatley, which I've done a video of, which will be here. But where we went was a place in Western Sydney called Wylde MTB Park. Now, as a school teacher, there are very few times that I wish I was a kid now. Super glad I grew up when I did. But then you go to places like this and you think, yeah, I've missed the trick here. Because as a kid, Wylde MTB Park would have been heaven. 15 kilometres of mountain biking track, as well as a pump track and a BMX track with barbecue facilities, gazebos, and also a bike washing station for when your bike gets a little bit dirty. And honestly, this would just be the coolest place to go as a kid. It's super accessible. It is also free, and I think that is really cool. So massive snaps to the New South Wales government and to, I think it's Blacktown or Liverpool Council, whoever is putting this up. It is freaking awesome. So yeah, really cool to see these kind of things going up in Sydney, and yeah. Okay, so it's tricky. I was going to do, when I went out to Wylde, a video on my thoughts about mountain biking, and it is difficult for me to do that because the day that we went, it had been raining prior and the tracks were washed out. So we weren't able to access the tracks. Well, there was a small section of track that was dry that we were able to access, and I had a good time on that. But I wouldn't say that the experience I got was an experience of mountain biking. However, I did get a bit of a feel for what it's about, and what it's about I enjoyed. I'm going to reserve the remainder of the thoughts to the end, but I had fun. I did. So first experience we had was on the pump track. Now, I come from a skateboarding background. I didn't ride bikes a lot in my teens. I was a skateboarder. And so some of this came naturally to me. The transfer of weight to push your momentum forward makes sense as a skateboarder. However, doing it facing forwards instead of facing sideways brought different challenges. And also, as a roadie, I'm used to having my weight over the front of the bike in order to maximize speed. I often think about this like in Cool Runnings with the bobsled. I can't remember his name, but the guy that put weights in the front of his bobsled to make it go faster. On a mountain bike or on a BMX, if you're on a pump track, I learned it's the opposite, and you want to be sitting right over the back so that you can push the bike forward and increase your momentum as you go down each of these ramps. And that was counterintuitive and took me a little bit of a go. So I've got first video, second video. But I enjoyed the pump track. It lost the novelty quicker than I expected. But again, this is something that as a kid, I would have absolutely loved. It's not super dangerous. So I think if you're a parent and you're thinking about getting your kids into bike riding, this would be awesome, because there's not the need to do any of these jumps or anything. It's just about learning the fundamentals and the basics. And I thought it was interesting, and it was a really good place to start getting the hang of how to ride the mountain bike, because we are about to do a significant jump in skill and head over to the BMX track. So on the BMX track, I learnt this on the pump track as well, all of the suspension in a mountain bike is meant to suck in a lot of the shock. And as a result,
makes the pump track look like
transfer of power when you are pumping through or down ramps, the suspension absorbs a lot of that. And so as a result, on the pump track, I wasn't able to go as fast as I thought maybe I would. And similarly, on the BMX track, once you were past the first jump, it was difficult to maintain some of that momentum. Some of this is just poor skill and experience from me, but also some of it was just the way the bikes are made, and mountain bikes are not made to go through a BMX track. However, that being said, this was super fun and a little bit deflating when I got home and looked at the GoPro footage, because I felt like Evel Knievel on this, but at the same time, it doesn't look nearly as cool on the GoPro. But anyway, BMX track was fun. I was sort of trying to work. There was one section that had 2 tabletops and then some of those rolling bumps, and I was trying to jump the first tabletop, jump the second one, and then jump one of the across a gap of those bumps. And I nailed it once. It's not on footage, but I do have some footage of me trying, which is varying degrees of pathetic. But anyway, BMX track, super cool. So then we sort of tested out part of this area of the track that was accessible and was dry, so we were happy to ride that very small section. And it had a jump on it. It was sort of a transfer, which you'll see coming down the track, up a ramp and across a gap onto a down ramp that was higher than the ramp that you jumped off.
Everyone good?
And you'll hear Nick say, are you actually going to do this? I was pretty set on it. I wanted to give it a crack, but I'll let the footage roll for a second. Just.
Oh, shit, drop a post.
Anyway, so obviously I've forgotten to put the drop post down, and this was something that I struggled with because it's just another thing to remember when you're trying to learn a new skill as it is. The dropper posts were cool, but also added a level of complexity to something that for me was complex enough as it was. So second time I managed to sort the dropper post out before I start going down, and this is the result.
What the fuck is this?
Was that fucking me by him?
Hey? Oh, fuck me. What? That was sketchy. There's a good way to do that, and then there's the way that I just did it. Fucking hell.
Have you ridden them before?
No. Fuck. The bike's not made for that. Cross-country bike is not made for that. I don't really know if I want to do it again. Fucking hell. Alright, so thoughts. It's pretty cool. Would I do it again? 100%. But am I out to buy a mountain bike tomorrow? Nah. I'll be right on the roadie. Anyway, good place, good day, good company.